Hey, what's up guys? I'm Tom Holland, here at Facebook. Welcome to my chat show. These are my friends. This is, by myself. Just gonna talk to you guys for 20 minutes, I think, and answer some questions. So let's see what you guys have to ask. What is it like becoming the most iconic superhero of all time? Matt_IV23. That must be annoying when you say, go follow me. _IV23. That's a complicated name, Matt. But, whatever. It was great, man. You know, I mean, I've always dreamed of being Spider-Man since I was a little kid, and when this opportunity came about, it was a real dream come true, you know. And Marvel and Sony have been so great at making this whole process enjoyable and informative, and I'm really excited to show audiences what we've come up with. So next, how is it shooting the scenes with Michael Keaton? From Keshin. It was great, you know. Michael, I've always been a huge fan of his. I've loved his comedy that he's done, and it was very interesting for me to see Michael like really take on a character that's terrifying. You know, he really plays the character with menace, and it's very interesting to see him to do that. And it was great fun. We had a great time. So yeah. If you could design the suit, what would it look like? It definitely wouldn't be as tight, you know? I mean, I like the red and blue, I like the webs, I think it's great. But it wouldn't be a skin-tight suit, because in reality, like, that's the most... It's just not practical. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you fight in a skin-tight Lycra suit? But it looks good, it looks great and stuff, and we actually came up with a very cool way of justifying how he puts it on so quickly, which you'll see when you see the movie. But yeah, I'd keep the same like color and design, but I'd make it like a hoodie or something. I wouldn't make it so tight, yeah. What is the best advice you received when you got the role? That's a good question. You know, I think the best advice probably came from my dad, you know. He sat me down and said, son, look, your life is about to change, and people are going to start talking to you differently, and you are ruining my interview. No, yeah, he was like, look, your life's going to change, and people are going to treat you differently, but make sure you stay the same, and I constantly do the dishes at home, and have to do the laundry and stuff, so they keep me normal, you know, and that's the best advice that I get, and that's from my parents, yeah. That's so funny how you told us, don't log into the live stream because it'll play live. The man who said it himself did it.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take you to get into character as Peter Parker? 20 years. Now, I've always loved Peter Parker, and I've always loved Spider-Man, so I've been playing him in my bedroom since I was a kid, you know. I've stood in front of the mirror and done poses and reenacted scenes from the previous movies and from the comics. So I've been doing this, I feel like preparing for this role since I was a kid. But when we were on set, obviously I have to do an American accent, so I tried to stay in the accent while I was working. And also in preparation, obviously he's a very physical character and he's flipping around all the time, so I did a lot of gymnastics training and we did lots of stunt training to make sure that we were... that I was at the top of my game. I actually have a super cool video that my stuntman made for me of me training, which I will release at the right time. I'm not going to show you now because the movie comes out in July and we're going to wait till July to show you. But it's actually really cool and you guys will love it. So moving on. How was working with Robert again? From RDJ's... so this is one of Robert's fans. Love you guys. Robert's great, you know. It's really fun to work with him, and he came at the perfect time. We were making the movie, and we were probably just getting into the last third of the movie, and you know, it's hard. You work 15 hours every day, and you're on set all the time, and it gets tiring, and the crew get tired. And he came and brought like a whole new burst of energy, you know. He lit the set up and really brought a lot to the movie, and we just had a lot of fun. In the trailer, you see it. All the stuff that we're doing in the trailer is basically improvised. And I love working that way, and so does Robert. And it was great fun to do that. It was really good. Have you ever been Spider-Man for Halloween? Now, a sad story is I've never really done Halloween properly. I think I've been trick-or-treating once or twice. But I've definitely gone to like parties as Spider-Man. I went 2 years ago to a fancy dress party as Spider-Man, but it wasn't a fancy dress party. I showed up and was the only person in fancy dress. Everyone was in normal clothes, and I was in a skin-tight lycra suit. So, you know, it was destiny. I got embarrassed, but now I'm Spider-Man, so who cares? But, okay. Was I nervous doing the flip on Jimmy Kimmel last night? Also, your flips are amazing on Instagram. Thank you, Mushroom Nikki. That's awesome. Another great name. Yeah, it was good, you know. It was my first time on a chat show. And they asked me to do a backflip in a suit which I couldn't really see out of. So I was a little nervous. It's been a while since I've done a flip. But the funny thing is actually as I was running into the studio with the rest of my fellow Spider-Men, I fell over. I literally, like, ate shit. Sorry, Sony. I fell over running into the studio. I'm getting bad looks. I'm being told off. I won't. Sorry. But it was great. I didn't land on my ass, and I landed the flip. And Jimmy was great. He was a really great host, and it was the perfect intro into chat shows. You know, it was good fun. But I brought my stunt double along just to make sure that everything was cool. But I did do the flip. It wasn't my stunt double. It was me. Okay, moving on. What did you do to train for the movie? You know, it was a really, like, great process. The training side of things was obviously going in the gym and getting into shape. I did this EMS training at this place called the Body Shape Studios, where you basically wear, like, almost like a wetsuit, and they put pads on you, and you work out while the pads electrocute you, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. But it kind of... I don't really know what it does, but it makes you in shape. It helps you get into shape. But you have to train on top of that, and it just basically speeds up the process. So it's like 20 minutes of, like, pure pain, but it works out to be really good. But then when I came out to Atlanta, I started training in boxing and training in the gym with my trainer and my best mate, Harrison. Shout out to you, buddy. Love you, man. But yeah, so... I trained, but the coolest thing I think I did for the movie was I was enrolled in a high school in New York, in the Bronx, as a secret. Like, no one knew who I was or what I was doing. I had a fake name and a fake accent. I went to school for 3 days, I think, and it was really fun, you know. It was really interesting because New York high schools are so different to schools that I went to in London, where I went to a school where you have to wear a suit and tie and it's all boys. And for me, it was the first time I was in a classroom with girls. It was like a really strange experience. It was really fun. But and then I told one kid at the school, I was like, hey man, listen, I'm actually Spider-Man. Did not believe me. Was like, what? No. I was like, no, seriously, dude, I'm Spider-Man. Like, no joke. Like, let's not mess around anymore. I'm Spider-Man. He was like, I don't believe you. And at the time, I hadn't made the movie, so I didn't have any pictures to show him to prove that I was Spider-Man. And he did not believe me at all. And then this one girl, I was sat in class, and she was sitting next to me, and she was like, what's your deal, man? Like, why are you at our school? Like, this is a science school. You can't just enroll. Like, you have to come from the beginning. And I was like, oh, well, I have a secret. You know, I have a secret. And she was like, what? This guy's a freak. Like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, I have. And then I started doing an English accent. I was like, I have a secret. I'm actually Spider-Man. And she was like, dude, you're nuts. You are literally the craziest guy I've ever met in my life. I was like, oh, amazing. No one believed me, which is actually a good thing, because it makes me think that if Peter Parker went up in his school and was like, I'm Spider-Man, everyone would be like, nah, dude, no, you're not. No. I really went off track on that question, huh? I really went off track. Wow. Okay. What was the best part of filming? From Mary Keshmas. That's a good name. You know, I think the best part of filming was... that's a good question. I loved it all. I really, really had the time of my life on this movie. I worked so hard, but I just met some really good friends. I met really great people. Excuse me. And I just had a great time. I just really had a great time going to work every day, working with people that really wanted to make this movie as good as possible and very passionate about it. So it was just a real privilege to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day and go to work. But it was... trying to think the best day we had. The best day. I can tell you the worst day. The worst day was I was doing a scene with an actor who I won't tell you who he is, and I was in the Spider-Man suit, and it was at the very beginning of shooting, and I was in a harness, and I had to stick to the ceiling, and I didn't go to the bathroom for like 11 hours or something, because we didn't really figure out how to take the suit off quickly at that point. We didn't understand how it worked, and I was in a harness, and obviously it's hot, so I'm drinking water all the time, because I'm doing exercise and running around, but I need to go to the toilet, and yeah, I didn't go to the bathroom for like 11 hours, and that's an expensive suit. You do not want to wet yourself in that suit. Marvel and Sony would not be happy. So, that was the worst part of filming. Actually, I think the best day of filming was when we went to the children's hospital. That was the best day. We weren't filming, we had a day off, so we decided to go, Jacob, Harrison and I. But it made me realize that I've been given this opportunity to play a superhero, so I should try and be a superhero in real life, you know, and go and see these kids and make a difference. And I was just talking to Sony about trying to do a premiere at a hospital, you know, for the kids, and that kind of stuff I'm really passionate about, and it means a lot to me to try and help the kids, and I think that was the best day I had in Atlanta. What was it like putting the suit on for the first time? So, I put the suit on for Civil War, and because I was cast so late, I literally got cast on Friday and started shooting on Monday. So, it was such a fast process that they didn't have time to make me a suit, so I wore my stunt double suit, and he's bigger than me. He's about 5 inches taller than me, he's a bit bulkier than me, and when I first saw the suit, I asked him to close all the mirrors so I would see it for the first time on and like looking great. I put it on, it felt pretty good, it felt good, but when I opened up the mirrors, it was like saggy and just, it looked like a really sad version of Spider-Man. So it was not the most heroic Spider-Man you've seen, but it was definitely cool. It definitely looked cool, and now that it fits, it looks great. But on the day, I was very disappointed. It was the biggest like anticlimax of all time. But now it looks great. What are your 3 favorite things about working with the cast and crew? From Brian Wood. You know, I think it's a collection of that people are so passionate about making a good movie. You know, people. I was worried that it was going to feel like a superhero movie. I was worried that it was going to be just we'll breeze through this. We'll do that with the green screen. Don't worry. That will be CGI. Don't worry about that. That'll be fine. I was really happy that the director John Watts and the crew were really passionate about making everything as real as possible. And for me, that was one of my favorite things about the movie, that everyone was taking it seriously. You know, I kind of thought that maybe people would take the piss a little bit and mess around. Sorry. I have strict instructions not to swear, but I'm from England. It's what I do. It's what we do. I should have a beer right now. No, I definitely shouldn't. But yeah, that was my first favorite thing. Second favorite thing is George Cottle. Shout out to you, buddy. He was the stunt coordinator on the movie, and he is the funniest guy of all time. I'm about to embarrass you, dude. I'm literally about to embarrass you so much. We have these things called shackles, right? Which is basically like you wear a harness, and the shackle, you tighten to the harness, and that's what goes to the wires, which helps you fly around and look like Spider-Man. You basically have to tighten them up to make sure you're safe. And Huggins, who's our key rigger, who's one of the original Spider-Man doubles, did my shackles up one time. That sounds really wrong. And and George came on to like undo them, and he couldn't do it because he has really soft baby hands. He has really soft baby hands. And Harrison and I, every time we saw him, we're like, woo, hey George! And he died laughing. That was the funniest joke on the set. Like, his baby hands, I literally want to die laughing. Oh, that was such a good day. That was such a good day. And then we actually had to do this thing where I had to dangle upside down and spin. And he span me so fast to just get back at me. But that was funny. So George Cottle, who's an amazing stunt coordinator, and he's incredible, has baby hands. Moving on swiftly.